Global Recall Roundup 2023. The RQA Group have published their annual review of global recalls, which addresses food recalls in the US, Canada, UK, EU, and Australia, as well as covering automotive recalls and consumer products. I've summarised the main points for each region here, but for more details, especially regarding the state of play in the USA, I recommend that you read the full report. And of course, there is a link in the email and the post to that. I've got a table that sort of summarises the overall trends, where the number of recall events in the US is going up, in the UK it's going down, the EU it seems like it's pretty stable. Canada has had their lowest number of recalls in years and 30% lower than 2022, and Australia and New Zealand slightly trending down as well. So we'll start with the USA recalls results for 2023. Following lower levels of recent pandemic-affected years, 2023 saw the highest number of US FDA and USDA regulated recalls since 2019, and the highest number of affected products since 2017, although there were fewer recall events than in 2017. On average, the number of products affected by each recall was higher than in previous years. Events that should be easily prevented and could cause serious harm, that is, events that should never happen and referred to as never events in the RQA report, were higher in 2023 than in past years in the US. Never events include recalls due to allergen mislabeling, and those accounted for almost half of all US recall events in 2023. Prepared dishes, pasta and noodles were the most commonly affected food category, and that is for the FDA in 2023. Confectionery was the most common category in 2022 and fell to the second most commonly recalled category for 2023. The number one reason for recalls was microbial pathogens, particularly Listeria, followed by allergens and foreign bodies, with those positions unchanged from 2022. However, recalls for unsanitary conditions and non-allergen labelling errors accounted for a much higher proportion of recalls in 2023 compared to 2022. Canada recalls. The number of recalls in Canada in 2023 was the lowest since before 2017 and 30% lower than in 2022. Pathogens were the main cause of recall events, particularly Listeria. In Canada, never events caused just 15% of recalls, and that was the lowest among all regions in the report. United Kingdom recalls 2023. The number of recalls in the United Kingdom in 2023 was lower than before 2017, with an overall downward trend in the annual number of recalls since 2018. Allergens were the leading cause of recalls in the UK in 2023, followed by foreign bodies, then microorganisms. Confectionery and prepared dishes, pasta and noodles were the categories were confectionery and then separately prepared dishes, pasta and noodles. And those two were the most affected food categories, accounting for more than half of recalls in the UK in 2023. Never events, which should be easily preventable and could result in serious harm, accounted for 32% of UK recalls in 2023, which was a significant reduction compared to previous years. The European Union. EU figures are derived from the Rapid Alert System for Food and Feed, which we often call RASFF, RASFF. Notifications. And they typically only include food safety events which affect more than one country. RASFF notifications also include events that aren't recalls, making comparisons with other regions difficult. There were slightly more RASFF alert notifications, and the alert notifications are the safety-related ones, in the EU in 2023 compared to 2022, and slightly fewer than in 2020 and 2021. The food categories with the most alerts were fruit and veg and poultry meats and poultry meat products, with these two categories together accounting for around 1/4 of alerts. And finally, Australia and New Zealand. The number of recalls in 2023 was similar to the number in 2022 and lower than in 2020. Confectionery, prepared dishes, pasta and noodles, and fruit and veg were the most often affected food categories. Labelling errors related to allergens were the top cause of recalls in Australia and New Zealand, with other allergen-related causes accounting for a large proportion of the remaining recalls, followed by microorganisms. In Australia and New Zealand, around 30% of recalls in 2023 could be considered never events. And the source that I've used for all of these figures and interpretations is the RQA Group report, and you will find a link to that. It's called Product Recall Report 2023, and you'll find a link to that in the email and the post.